like to call to order the executive committee meeting Friday, November 22nd, 2024, and we'll start off with a roll call.
Mr. Hess? Present. Ms. Polk? Ms. Weber? Present. Ms. Parker? Present. Mr. Seroy? Mr. Carrico? Present. Mr. Featherling? Present. Mr. Long? Mr. Eckhoff? Present. Mr. Hunter? Present. Ms. Foster? Present. Mr. Alexander Hildebrand?
Present.
We do have a quorum.
Okay. Doesn't appear we have anything under public comment. Is there any public comment? Nothing under presentations. And then we don't have the minutes for this meeting, but we'll approve both this one and next one on or last one and this one on the next meeting. And then can I have a motion to amend the agenda, and I'm gonna move the lottery for ballot placement for the 2025 consolidated election, and I'm gonna bump it up first by Hunter, second by Eckhoff. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Dan? Take it away.
Good morning, everybody. As some of you may know, the filings for the 2025 consolidated election have passed, and because we did have some simultaneous filings for school board offices, we are required to conduct a lottery. I always like to do it at one of the committee meetings in order to provide as much transparency as possible. We have 6 different school districts that have at least 2 people filing, and at School District 111 we have 4 people that simultaneously filed. So I do have 4 envelopes with the numbers 1 through 4 in here, and if I would ask my esteemed colleague Lori Gadboy to be in charge of the drawing. So pick any one, and then if you would open it up. That one, okay. So this number will be the top spot on the lottery, or for the ballot, number 4. And if you would do so again, please. Number 2. 2 more to go. Number 3, and hopefully if I did everything right, it should be hey,
there we
number
go.
1. So we have our positions for the ballot placement for the 2025 elections. Does anybody have any questions? Yes,
Ms. Weber?
How do you attach a name to it? How do you attach a name to
those that simultaneously filed are listed in alphabetical order. So the first one that's alphabetical for each school district would be number 1. The second one would be number 2. Third one 3. Fourth one number 4.
And then listed on the ballot in this order. 4 through
correct.
4 through 1. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you. Y'all have a great day.
Yes.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Nothing under legislative. After that, we have information systems with Kevin Duvall with a monthly update. Morning, Kevin.
Morning. Just a brief update about Circuit Clerk's office. Matt had brought to my attention that there was 1 or 2 board members that questioned, I believe, the portal for the Circuit Clerk's office. And what I informed him is what I'm informing you now, is that they were transitioning from the old portals, Circuit Clerk's website portal, to the new one. They had expected to be up by now. There were some things that were out of their hands that slowed it up, but and we knew that that was going on. Jason had informed me about that. They were hoping to have it up. It's actually officially up today. It's in line with the link. They had hoped it to happen first, but it was nothing that happened here. It was nothing in her office. It's just one of those fluke things that happened. So it should be up and going now. And then I wanted to give you an update on the phone system. We are still within the 90-day period from when you install a new phone system. And what you do in the 90 days is there's some things that you have to troubleshoot while it's live. So the phone system been up, for the most part, it's been working really well. But there's only certain things you can see once people are actually on it going across the campus, because we have a pretty new phone system. There were some issues that arose, but in general, everything was been able to be fixed, and it's been operating better than the previous system, which is the best thing that happened. We also got to see that we've had very fast support from both the national vendor and our local vendor, but we knew that Ruder always comes when we need them on top of that. One issue did arise. I hadn't had a chance to talk to Matt about this, but it kind of ties into some other projects that you guys have been dealing with. A few days ago, one of the issues with the phone system is when they came in the morning, some of the phones weren't working. What it turns out, and they had to troubleshoot, what it turns out comes out is we traced it back to the courthouse. And as everyone knows here, I wrote down the notes, I'm trying to summarize it so it doesn't go on forever, is everybody know the electrical issues that exist in the courthouse. Well, it turns out it never affected the old system because we had an analog system. Now that we have a network system, it's raising its head. Now, I don't want to make it sound like it's happening all the time, but it did happen. We've been doing it for quite some time on this new system. It just happened once. But we know it's probably going to happen again. It turns out, unlike the other buildings, when they have power, when we have power flickers, we have generators. They don't. When you have network phones, when you have power flickers on a network with data, it really doesn't affect it that much because it's not a two-way communication. And we have other things in place. Well, it turns out on the phone system, when you have power flicker, it reboots the machines because those switches actually power the phones, which the previous phones had never happened. So that's not an issue. They reboot. The whole building's phones reboot and surge to the server. Now the server's trying to catch up to several hundred phones trying to reconnect all at once, which would never happen in normal circumstances. We didn't know that was going to happen. Once I was told that was potentially having, I came up with a solution, which is, it's a short-term solution, but it'll work, is we're going to go every switch that powers phones in all the buildings. I talked to Steve to make sure the money was there for this, so it's not gonna cost you any more in the budget. Every phone, everywhere this power for switch, we're gonna put a brand new UPS unit. So that should clear the power flickers from happening. They shouldn't do the phones, they shouldn't reboot, and you should never have that surge to it. The one caveat I can tell you, that's going to be a little less effective in the courthouse because you don't have a generator. What happens for the courthouse, and that some of you in other meetings realize, they go down and stay down for some time. UPS units only last for a few minutes. So that's still potentially going to rise. It doesn't have a lot. It's much better than it used to be, but you guys do know that since I've been here, it's been an issue with electrical in that building, and I know the various maintenance committees and everything, you're in a process of trying to deal with that, but that's correct. A long-term solution. Ultimately, the only solution for that, and we were addressing this 15, 20 years ago when we first started automating the courthouse, we knew not having a generator was an issue. All of you know that that's an issue. At some point, you guys will need to get to a point where you have a generator in that building like you do in all the ones, especially one that critical. It not only will help the phone system, it will help your networks, it'll help your elevators, but it's not anything new. You guys already know. You'll deal with it.
It's already on the priority list, so.
So our solution will work in a temporary first time, but anything that's extensive. What I will tell you though, is it doesn't, when they have that issue, it doesn't just cause a problem for the courthouse, it affects everybody. Because everybody's on the same server. So it causes surge to the rest of your phones. It's not everybody's phone, but it affects all the buildings at that time. The easy solution is you just unplug your phone and do it again. You know, it'll it'll work. But we wanted to let you know so you're having an update on the phone system. Nobody could have anticipated that that was going to happen. There is a short-term solution, and ultimately, when you guys are looking at your bigger issues, the generator will be the final
Long-term
solution for that.
solution. Perfect.
And other than that, do you have any questions?
Any questions? Rosemary?
How long is it gonna take to resolve that and to repair that issue?
The issue for right now is fixed.
Particularly-
Well,
Okay.
I immediately started purchasing UPSs, and we're starting to implement them now. It'll take a while to put it on, but as you said, it's existed and we didn't know since the phone system went live, and it's only happened once. So it's not so. It usually takes a pretty severe storm for that to happen, but there's occasional power flickers at the courthouse. But those, it hasn't really happened. I believe when it happened was the other day, and we had our first pretty decent rain in a while, and I believe that's what caused it to happen. But for right now, there's a plan, there's an immediate solution for it. The long-term solution is a generator at some point, but you know, that's something that takes time. That isn't you just buy something, stick it in. There's a whole infrastructure that you got to deal with before you get there.
That should be done by the end of next year, so
Okay.
good to go. Thank you, Kevin.
All right.
Next up under the health department, John Beavis. He's not here today. Okay, he's got his report in the packet, so. And then I see schools, Frank Pekunis. Do you have anything for us today? Perfect. Morning.
Morning. Just quick updates. Our office is currently wrapping up our school inspections. I think we've got 2 or 3 left to do. Walking through, making sure everything's safe for fire and health, life safety. Everything's been looking good. Schools are doing a great job keeping that up and working well with us and the fire marshal. So good things going on there. The roof project at our office is coming to a close. That's gone pretty smooth. A couple of glitches, but that's to be expected. So we appreciate the support that you've given us there, and we should be in good shape with that. So thank you very much.
No problem.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So,
And Kevin, with the phones, our phones have, we've very happy. I haven't heard of any issues, so for as far as we're concerned, things are good there. Schools will be on Thanksgiving break next week. Different schedules for a lot of the schools. Most of them won't have students. Some of them will have parent-teacher conferences. Some of them will have teacher institutes. A few of them are out the whole week. So different things going on there. You've probably all been seeing the press on school report cards coming out. So different results going on there. Again, it's a tricky subject because it's a one-time, once-a-year report that comes out, and I kind of compare it to back my previous life when I was in the appliance world. Consumer reports, that was kind of a thing that was a little bit of a challenge for us in the retail world, because people use that as a Bible, and without more information, that rating doesn't really mean a lot. So be cautious when you're looking at those ratings for schools, because there's more to it, and that's one thing. It's one piece of information. There's a lot more out there. What I like to encourage all of you is, our schools need community support. They need your support, and together we can work through a lot of that stuff. So if you have concerns or if you have questions and you want to learn more about that, please reach out either to us or to the school district to get some more information, because those ratings are just one piece of the story. So we have been working with our schools to support them. The state board has provided some resources to us. We have a full-time coach that we were able to hire through a grant with the state for literacy. So we're very excited about that. She has started with us this year and is working with several of our school districts, going in and helping them to implement the Illinois State Literacy Plan, which was rolled out earlier this year. So that is intended to help raise our literacy performance in the state.
Will we get an update on,
Steve?
sorry, Mr. Chairman, will we be able to get an update on that? With, you know, in terms of literacy and what the impact is doing with this grant?
So what we do is we are helping school districts understand the literacy plan and how to implement that with our kids and our students, and the teachers understand it so that they can use those strategies to help our kids get better at reading and literacy. And so hopefully that will equate to scores going up, and you'll see that in the ratings.
So I just maintain that if kids can't read, kids can't succeed. And I was looking at the local newspaper about the truancy rate. I know, what's her name, who serves on the Hispanic Partnership Board with us. She deals with truancy and stuff, and I know that's a family or parental responsibility. I mean, you know, I made sure that my kids didn't play hooky, that they went to school, but I was kind of freaked out about the rate. I don't know. I know that there's some cultural things around Christmas time with the Hispanics going to Mexico and staying there for some extended period of time. Does that feed into the rate at all?
Yeah, and that's the other thing that's another important piece when you look at those numbers, is to understand what they mean, because we have chronic truancy and different terms that are out there, and if you don't really understand what all that means, so right now there's a piece of data that counts all absences, whether they're excused or unexcused. So each school district gets to set their own policy for truancy, and so one school district might have 10 absences are acceptable if the parent calls in. Another district might have 5 if the parent calls in. Others require a doctor's note for it to be excused. So there's different policies out there, and that's local control, and that's what we have in Illinois, and so that's set by their school board. And so when you see those numbers, you have to try to understand where those numbers come from. And so whether they're excused or unexcused, that's one piece of truancy. And so the school district doesn't have a lot of control over that unless they change their policy. If a parent's calling a child in and off, and that's a parent is okay with that, and that counts against the school's truancy numbers.
That's probably the exception rather than the rule, you know, and some of these parents, you know.
Could be. So, but again, truancy is an issue, and that's another thing that I want to commend this board on, is that you have always supported our office in our efforts to work with truancy. And so we do have a very strong truancy program, and even with that program, we still have challenges. That's something that I'm working with on a statewide committee to try to work with the legislature to enhance what we're doing statewide with truancy. So truancy laws are in place, but laws are not really that impactful, because what they do is they penalize the parent or the student. Ultimately, that's the effect, and that really doesn't help. So what we've been trying to do is look at how do we find the root cause of truancy, what's causing people to not go to school, and try to address that and try to support them in fixing that piece and heading it off before it becomes a problem. So those are the things that I think will help with some of these report card ratings. Truancy is an issue. Homelessness is an issue. The other issue that we have with homelessness, we have a McKinney-Vento grant that through our office that we work with our school districts to identify students that are homeless. And one of the things that we struggle with is trying to get them identified. The laws are such that that's a very tricky thing to do. So trying to educate school staff and families on identifying people that are homeless, because there's benefits and there's resources that they can get if we can know who these people are, and that will actually help improve our truancy numbers as well. So it's all tied together, and so we are working as an office to try to support those efforts, which I know will help the report card ratings as well. So,
Frank, you know, it's interesting you bring up, you know, homelessness. My pastor, Dr. Lori K. Holmes, used to have that responsibility when she was in the district. But I freaked out when she was telling me about, you know, the data regarding the homelessness.
and it's underreported.
Yeah.
So it should be higher than what it is.
And it's amazing. But, you know, I've talked with the chairman about a retreat on, you know, for this board in terms of dealing with different subjects and stuff. But, you know, what I appreciate is some of the reports that you guys provide is really good information, so we can impart and share that with our constituents instead of just, you know, I mean, you guys share a lot of valuable information. I'm sure a lot of folks didn't know about the homelessness. I'm sure they didn't know about the truancy stuff that you're giving specificity about, and we need to hear that.
Yes, and I, like I said, I think that if you have questions and you have concerns, reaching out and trying to learn more specifics about it is really the best thing to do. Other than that, I wish you all a happy Thanksgiving and appreciate everything you're doing for us.
Thank you very much, Frank.
Thanks.
Have a good one. Next up, we have the County Administrator, Anita Speckman, with Mr. Carrico.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. May I add something to the Kinky Health Department, but not associated to Mr. Beaver's report?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. I just want to let the committee know that the Board of Health met yesterday in order to do the selection and nominations for the 2025 officers. And the Board of Health members made a nomination for me to continue as the president of the Board of Health. And then another nomination was made where Mr. Jim Johannek was then selected and voted and elected as the vice president. That's all. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Next up, we have the County Administrator, Anita Speckman, with a monthly update.
Good morning. I hope everybody's okay this morning. It'll be, I think, rather abbreviated, but we'll see how it goes. So there are only 5 openings currently that are listed on our website. So of those, 4 are not county directed, 1 at the state's attorney's office, 1 at public health, 1 at the courts, and 1 at circuit clerk. In addition, there is an opening in highway for an engineering intern. That internship position has been open since April. So it's what we would say a stale. We're looking for those engineering students as, you know, the school semesters progress. But that one is still sitting out there. That is the only one that is county directed.
Mr. Hunter.
I don't want to monopolize, but let me just, you know, I've been around since dirt. But anyway, there's a young lady I want you to make contact with who is a recruiter, who was born and raised here in Kankakee, who works for DOT, and she does recruit engineers.
Mm-hmm.
Her name is Eddie Price's daughter, Aisha Price. I'll give you her contact information at the end of the meeting. And in fact, I just saw her at the annual soiree for the NAACP. She was recruiting and doing some stuff for the state. But yeah, she goes everywhere, all around the country, recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
And I can give you her contact information. She may be able to help you with that.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then new hire orientation for November would have taken place on Wednesday. Everyone that was assigned to come because of their hire dates are effective benefits eligible January or later. And so that's our new benefits year, and that information isn't ready yet. The video's not done, etc. So November was canceled. We'll catch those people up in December and have them enroll, but they'll go into the new system, not the current system that's currently online. So speaking of that, that's really our focus right now, is getting the information ready for the new hire orientation, which will be held December 1st through the 15th. It's December 1st through the 10th for retirees, but through the 15th for our employees. As you, I'm sure, remember, what the county board approved were 4 new plans this year. So what that means, we typically do a passive enrollment, which means that if our employees don't go into the enrollment tool, they will retain their current selections. That will not happen because their current selections aren't available. So it's going to be very important this year that every employee go in there and make a selection. We monitor that. I send reports on a daily basis to supervisors, etc. But that will be the push this year, is to ensure that every employee makes sure that they make their proper selections out of the new plans. So it's been a bit more challenging always when you have new plans, additional work that has to be done with the enrollment tool. The plans are a little bit more complicated because of the 2 networks. So the video was twice as many numbers for me to make an error on. So a little bit of a struggle there, but just a little more challenging this year. But we will be ready on December 1st for our rollout for sure, regardless. Negotiations update, FOP sworn division. As you know, we've had 2 scheduled executive session or special finance, because I was told the contracts would be ready. They were not ready. As of now, I was told, oh, they'll be ready for, finance, which of course is, I think yesterday they told me they're ready for finance. Well, that's tomorrow, and we're too late. So we're kind of still looking now. It looks like December 10th. So be prepared. December 10th, we'll probably have a special finance before the full board. You can put a little tickler in there, but obviously not scheduled at this point until I actually get it in my hands. So we stop monkeying around with that. Also going on, and then corrections negotiations. The next session will be held, that is scheduled for December the 10th, following the full board meeting. So we'll have 3 members of the board assist us and our labor attorney in managing through those, but we're expecting kind of a long session on the 10th, hopefully. Hopefully it's longer, because that's means you're making progress.
Right.
I like those, when they're rather short after a half hour and somebody just decides we're done, that's not a good start. So the longer sessions work better. And sexual harassment and cyber training, the annual sexual harassment training required by Illinois state law, and cyber training also required by Illinois state law, is currently going on. Hopefully all you board members have completed your training and given your certificates to Joanne to track to ensure, but every employee must be done as well by December 31st. Joanne will track that with the supervisors to ensure she's getting all those certificates and ensuring that all our employees have taken the required training. And then the only last thing, following the seating of the new board on the 2nd, there's one last training that will be required for all board members by state law once in your term. So we do it after you're seated. You must take OMA training required by the Attorney General's office. I'll be following that December 2nd meeting. I'll be sending out that email to you all with the link of the training, but you'll need to complete that if you're a returning board member or a current board member by December 31st as well. So lots going on.
Any questions? Thank you, Anita.
Yeah.
You can stay if you want. Next up, under administrative, we have appointments, reappointments, and resignations. Resignation of Colton Eckhoff from the Regional Planning Commission. Resignation of Sam Thomas from the Northern Illinois Angler Association. The appointment of Alex Ford to the Union Drainage District Number 2, Ganir and Moments. And I'm pulling the appointment of David Skelly to the Kankakee Waterways Advisory Committee. And then we have the appointment of Mark Brovos to the X-Line Drainage District. So I need a motion to combine and approve with the exception of the appointment of Dave Skelly. First by Featherling, second by Ms. Parker. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, we have openings. One opening on the Animal Welfare Advisory Committee, a shelter community representative. One opening on the Historic Preservation Commission, and that would be a historian. 2 openings on the Kankakee County Public Building Commission. 1 opening on the Clausen Park Drainage District. 1 opening on the Gar Creek Drainage District. 1 opening on the Little Beaver Special Drainage District. 1 opening on the Mantino Drainage District Number 9. 1 opening on the Regional Planning Commission. And 1 opening on the Northern Illinois Angler Association. That's all the openings. Then next up under new business, we have the compliance with the Decennial Committee Report on Local Government Efficiency Act for Bourbonnais Township Park District and Joliet Junior College. And we just need a motion to accept to put the report on file. First by Eckhoff, second by Foster. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Anything else under new business? Colton? Mr. Eckhoff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just so the committee knows that the Regional Planning Commission is a board appointment, so anybody on the county board.
Correct. Thank you. Anything under old business? All right. Mr. Hess? Motion to adjourn by Mr. Hess, second by Featherling. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign.